So in season 2 of The Night Agent, which is now streaming on Netflix, Rose Larkin, one of my favorite characters of the series, goes to therapy. Honey, sign up for more sessions after this season. Actually, sign her up for like 100 more sessions just for next month. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today we're getting into my spoiler-free thoughts on season 2 of The Night Agent. Now, listen, I know The Night Agent came out, like a couple of years ago now, and I was late to the party because this year I just sort of binged it, or I should say the end of last year, I binge-watched season 1, and I really liked it. I didn't think it was anything crazy, but like, it worked for me. And then when I saw season 2 was coming out this year, of course, I wanted to sit down and watch it for this review. So a huge thank you to Netflix for giving me the chance to watch all 10 episodes early for review. Now, it is rated TV MA for a lot of violence, but it's nothing like gory or anything like that, and it was released on January 23rd, so by the time you're watching this, it's already out on Netflix for you to watch too. So when you do, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are before we get into all of mine. And hey, if you like movies and TV just like me, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, like this video, because even though it's been a really slow January, as it usually is, February we're kicking right into gear with Love is Blind Season 8 and so much more. I'm really excited, guys, and thank you for being on the journey with me to 50,000 subscribers. Alrighty, y'all, so let's get into Season 2 of The Night Agent. The show was created by showrunner Shawn Ryan, and it stars Gabriel Basso as Peter, Luciane Buchanan as Rose, Amanda Warren as Catherine, and newcomer Arienne Mandi as Noor. Now, I did say this is a spoiler-free review, which means I'm not getting into any of the particulars in Season 2, but what I can say is that the season again surrounds Peter Sutherland and Rose Larkin. Peter was a once FBI agent picking up the night action telephone, and now he is the agent on the other side of that phone, goes to Bangkok, things go wrong, and he comes back to the United States, where he learns that the mission was uncovering something much bigger. So he teams up with Rose. You got newcomer Amanda Warren, who is basically his handler of sorts, and things just hit the fan. Okay, but it is good stuff. So let's get into my positives for season 2 of The Night Agent, because I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I really liked season 2 more than season 1. This is still a very comfortable watch in the spy thriller genre. Sure, there were jaw-dropping moments, which I really loved, but the story itself is not going to challenge you too much as a viewer, or maybe even force you to think of a million different story threads. But the biggest plus for The Night Agent is that it is consistent, whether it be acting, action, or story. It is always going to give you exactly what you expect. Sure, there's predictability, and the story beats aren't unfamiliar to me, especially in season 2, but it worked largely because of the time we took this season to develop our characters. And speaking of our cast, this is a really well-rounded collection of performances led by Gabriel Basso, who played J.D. Vance in Hillbilly Elegy. It's really weird to say that out loud now, but yeah, I know him as the Night Agent, okay? Peter Sutherland Jr. This guy nails it in the lead action hero category. I mean, you've got moments where he's running like he's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. I'm thinking, my goodness, he went to the Tom Cruise School of Running. And then you have moments where he's really down to earth, and you realize he's not just this cutthroat agent. And I love those moments, especially alongside his co-star Luciane Buchanan. So they've got 2 seasons now of television under their belt together. And I don't know, y'all. Luciane Buchanan crushes it in this show, okay? Sure, she does overact on purpose sometimes. I think it's what the script calls for. But her as Rose just works. She's got the smarts when it comes to tech. She can fight. And also, she's the one to help bail Peter out of these situations. They have such a good chemistry this season, even more than season 1, which I get it, because in season 1 they were just sort of bound by trauma. But I kept rooting for them all season long. I kept thinking, just get together, kiss her, kiss him, just don't split up the ship. We ship them. And within the context of this series, their acting just works really well because they understand what this show calls for. It's not going to require Emmy Award level acting, but it just actually fits perfectly. They do enough to get you into moods, they do enough to get you into scenes, and then you think, wow, okay, yeah, I can rock with them. So I really liked both of their performances here, and dare I say, Gabriel Basso also had more scenes to flesh out his dramatic acting in this season. So I'm thinking, this guy, could he be like not the face of Hollywood in terms of TV, but I like to see him in more projects now. I mean, season 3 of Night Agent better happen, but I love what he did here. And then you got some newcomers, right? And I want to highlight 2 of them in particular, actually maybe 3, but right at the top of that list is Amanda Warren as Catherine Weaver, I believe her last name is. She's Peter Sutherland's case agent or handler for the night action team. Amanda Warren, man, I mean, like, there are some scenes where I'm just like, I'm listening, ma'am. And I don't even, I feel like she's yelling at the screen. I'm not getting yelled at, and I feel like I'm getting yelled at. But Amanda Warren, even though she took a little while to grow on me with her acting, because at first I think there weren't enough scenes to really allow her to act. Eventually, in the last half of this season, we get some moments where I'm like, oh, heck yeah. I'm locked into Amanda Warren as a character here. She's so good in some scenes, especially in her hand-to-hand combat moments. I liked it. And in my opinion, the best new performance is, well, actually maybe my favorite performance of season 2 as well, and that comes from Arienne Mandi as Noor. Now, she really shines throughout. At first, her character is very timid. She is an aide to the Iranian ambassador here in New York City, and I thought, hey now, this character is probably just going to be around, but not really get too much shine. And I was wrong. Arienne Mandi really shines in episode 5, where it's an entire episode, an hour's worth of TV just dedicated to her storyline, which is largely the B plot, where she wants to try and grant asylum to her mom and her brother. And oh my goodness, it was emotional. But it works due in large part to her acting. I've never seen her act before, but now I want to see her act even more. She's so nuanced too in some of her scenes where she's acting with her face, and I'm thinking like, yo, hold on here. You're not saying anything, but you're saying a lot. And that was the level of acting I wanted to sort of see uncovered here in season 2, and she did a good job of delivering that. So Arienne Mandi, I think my favorite performance of season 2, hands down. And then lastly, to round out like the list of newcomers that I liked, Berto Colon as Solomon. Whenever he's on screen, of course you think, oh gosh, he's just another villain. No, he's more than a henchman. We get more of his story. And especially towards the end of this season, I was not feeling bad for him, but sort of. Like, it's weird how this show made me almost feel bad for his character. But he does a really good job here as well. And I like that he got more time to act in front of the camera, especially during a certain interrogation scene. But I think that for the most part, this show does a good job at allowing these supporting characters to have more of a foothold in this series because of the ways they play with chronology. The cold openings, the intro before the title card drops, usually are in the past, 10 months ago, 13 years ago. I did have a little bit of issue in some instances where it didn't look like those actors were any younger, and then they used an awful de-aging thing on character from I can't, alright, I'm not going to go too much further, it might be a spoiler, but it was rough. But wait, we're still on the positives, so let me not go and talk about negatives just yet. I want to talk about one more positive here, and that is the action. Listen, you're coming to the Night Agent for action. I know people are going to say, well, what about the acting? And that would be me. I'm that person, but most people are click and play because they like the action in season 1. Now, maybe not as many explosions in season 2 as there were in season 1, but you have some scenes where people are literally burning up. I'm not lying. So the action is taken to another level to a degree, and to me it was more brutal. I mean, the hand-to-hand combat here was much better than season 1, and that's just the hand-to-hand combat. I mean, there are instances where people are getting impaled by poles. Like, what? It's crazy. In times, I think that maybe they could have done a little bit more in these action moments, but the editing was pretty solid. I didn't feel like the camera cuts were jarring. I could track the action, and there were some scenes in a cinematic sense where I'm like, y'all are playing with this lighting and this fog. It's supposed to be smoke, of course, and you see like our two characters fighting, and I thought, yo, the way it's framed is good. So even the way it's shot in season 2 just really blows season 1 out of the water, and we don't have awkward cutaways. There were some awkward cutaways in season 1, but in season 2, I feel like the action is really fleshed out, and I did love how even though there are some characters who just like, whatever, they're throwaways, they got a little bit of time to, fight. Yeah, probably stunts, so shout out to the stunt coordinator and the stunt team. But it helped the characters not feel like they didn't have any role to play. So the action really does sort of service everybody. Even Rose is getting into it, okay? Yeah, Rose is throwing some rights and some lefts, all right? So I really thought that the action was better here as well. So season 2 is just, to me, you're probably thinking, okay, this is sounding great. And yes, it is actually pretty darn good. Now, there are some elements, though, in season 2 that still I couldn't vibe with all the way. So let's get right into my negatives for season 2 of The Night Agent. Now, we were talking about some newcomers that I absolutely loved, but not every newcomer to this cast delivers a good performance, and sometimes they just drag down scenes. I want to start with maybe an unpopular choice here, because this is a villain that gets a lot of screen time. His name is Jacob Monroe. The actor's name is Louis Hertham. I'm sorry. I think his acting to me was really bland. Surprisingly, he dragged down scenes with Gabriel Basso, and Gabriel Basso usually has these scenes where he's commanding the screen, so the co-stars sort of just rise to that level, like, Luciane Buchanan and Amanda Warren, but you don't really get that with this actor. He's not necessarily terrible, it's just every scene he's involved in is just talk, and I'm really engaged when Gabriel Basso's talking, and I'm not so much engaged when Louis Hertham is talking, or if Louis Hertham's character is talking to another henchman or henchwoman. It just doesn't work for me. He's just not bringing the juice in this season, so yeah, I don't know. They probably could have done a little bit better in terms of the villains overall in season 2. They did feel a little like they were kind of put into a corner at times, but the overall plot sort of makes up for it. There's also another newcomer here where they were propping him up, and I had hope for the character of Javad, played by Keon Alexander. Is he not delivering what he needs to? No, I think he is delivering exactly what the script is calling for, but there are so many moments where I'm like, dude, just get to the next level. Get to the next level. He's really one note, surprisingly, for a lot of this season, and then finally, when they do give him some opportunity to sort of break out and then become like this unhinged villain, that lasts for like a scene or two, and then it just sort of goes away, and I'm like, that's not great. I want to see an evolution of this character, and also they prop him up to be this big bad, but he's losing almost every fight he's a part of. Like, come on, man. So again, that maybe speaks to the villain problem that we have in season 2. But, that can't be the thing that sinks the ship. Again, still nothing like that's groundbreaking from the villains, but it could be worse, okay? It could be a lot worse. And then there is another negative that I sort of just can't shake as I was watching season 2, and that is the plot convenience that is found in this season. I mean, my goodness, season 1 had some of it, right? But season 2 has a lot of it. I mean, there are some scenes, especially one in particular towards the end of season 2, I think it's episode 9 or 10, where literally a character's like, we need this, which I found, and then we also need in the other characters like this. And I laughed way too much. I had to pause the thing because I was just laughing. And I thought, okay, listen, it's not unexpected, but it's too convenient. Like, it's just too convenient, you guys. It's on the nose at times, and I'm like, I get it, the protagonist, they can't lose, but come on, this is too much. It's just, plot armor is, again, I guess it's excusable in the context of this show, but maybe in some more involved movies and TV series, like, you can't have too much plot armor for your protagonist or your antagonist because it just feels too obvious. And I will say there were some scenes where I was taken out of the immersion of it all because of these plot conveniences. It just, come on, y'all. And then, like I mentioned a little bit in the positives, sometimes the VFX can be a little rocky, especially in one flashback sequence that we get, I think, towards the middle of this season. A certain character comes back, and the face is like de-aged, and you can tell that the actor is not the actor. Now, I could be wrong here, but every time they do a shot, reverse shot, you never see the face in the reverse shot of the actor in which has that de-aging technology. So it's like you can tell they're wearing those dots on their face, and it's just like a stand-in actor. It looked so obvious, and I was like, oh, this is bad. So I was like, please get off the screen. It's really distracting. Reminds me of Alien Romulus. Oh, man. But for the most part, you guys, I mean, overall, season 2 of The Night Agent was still a load of fun, and I had a good time watching it. I was gripped in some scenes, and I felt that the characters, the actors overall, just were so much better. And I did love the fact that even the newcomers got a great chance to shine. Again, Arienne Mandi is so good here, and I'm surprised that a newcomer ended up being the face of this season. Again, that's not to take away from Luciane Buchanan or Gabriel Basso. I like them a whole lot, especially together. Their characters are great. But, man, I'm so glad that this season did not disappoint. And that's my biggest takeaway, honestly, is because season 1, for some people, they were like, man, this is really good. It's a comfortable watch. I'm going to binge that this weekend, and I'm going to come away happy, in which they did. In season 2, you can do the same exact thing. Come in with the same mentality, and I think you'll be happy as well. This is a season that's not going to blow anyone out of the water. It is not the best spy thriller series I've seen, but I'm going to be honest, I think I low-key enjoyed it a little bit more than The Day of the Jackal on Peacock. I just recently watched that too, and it fell apart from episode 7 on. It was bad at the end, but Night Agent delivers all the way through. It's very consistent, like I mentioned, so that's honestly the thing that they need to do if they do a season 3, because they did leave the door open at the end for a season 3. And I'm hoping we get it, because there's a lot more story to tell, I'm sure. So props to the writers, props to the showrunners, props to the cast and crew involved, because y'all just improved on basically every level. So really good season of television, and I enjoyed my time with it. But after you spend 10 hours with season 2 of The Night Agent, let me know what you think. Get loud in the comments below. Which performance is your favorite? And did you like it better than season 1? And hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, and like this video so you can see more of this content, and so can others. Y'all, this was fun because, this year I'm aiming to watch more movies and TV series, which means I'm going to be busy. I actually have to go get ready. I got some stuff to watch and some stuff to review. Does anyone know of a familiar, friendly neighborhood spider? Yeah, I'll be watching that and bringing you my review next week as well. So stay tuned, y'all. Alrighty. Again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening.